Hi guys. Hello. Okay, so hey guys. I'm Tanya. I'm the social media manager here at Pebblewing, and today we're gonna talk about emergency kit or go back for cats with Safrina. Safrina is Kitty Mojito and Link's mom, and you can follow her on Instagram as Kitty Mojito. So she's the best person to talk about this topic. She knows a lot about it, and we're just very excited about today. So please start writing down here your questions. This is a very, very important topic for cat parents. So please take notes, and let's wait for her to join so we can get started. So, hi, Jiwen. Hi, Teresa. Hi. Hi. Okay, we're waiting for her to join. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. We're waiting for her. There she is.
Hold on, let me swap the. Oh, is it not working? Hold on.
No worries, no worries.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There she is. Okay. Hi, Sabrina. How are you
Hi,
doing?
Tanya. I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm super excited about today because we're going to talk about a very important topic that is emergency kit or go back for cats. And I know it's the best time to talk about it because it's spring season, springtime. We want to take our pets with us to do many activities, but it's also, very important to take precautions. So you're the
Yeah,
best person to talk about it. But I think before getting into that, we would like to know more about you. So
sure.
I want to start with what inspired you to start sharing your cat's life on social media?
Um, we've had our Instagram for a few years now. So I guess just like any pet parent, we just had so many pictures of Kitty Mojito at that time that I just needed one place to kind of
Right.
bombard our friends and family with photos, and eventually kind of became a spot to chronicle her life. This was
Yeah.
before Lindsay joined. I always kind of like to look back and see what she looked like, 5 years
Right.
ago, 6 years ago, what we did. So that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's always important to, when you're creating content, to find that content valuable, and have fun with it, just be genuine. And yeah, I think that's great. So, what are your top tips for someone looking, to make their cat a social media star on social media?
Um, our top tips would be first and foremost, I guess, just to kind of have an idea of what kind of account or content you want to create.
Right.
Like when we first started, I had no idea. I just created an account and I just started posting
Yeah.
pictures. I didn't know what an influencer was or anything like that. So,
Right. Yeah.
um, but now I guess that's kind of in the forefront. So if
Right.
you're creating an account now, maybe kind of have an idea whether you want to create something where you educate people
Right.
on something or whether it's just like for fun, if you're looking to make it more of a business, like to monetize it.
Right.
So if you have that idea, it kind of helps you figure out what kind of content to create, what your niche is, things like that. And I guess the most important thing would be be consistent with
Right.
your posting, and also be realistic. You know,
Great tip.
we're all not going to be like viral stars overnight. So
Right. Yeah, that's true.
um, just kind of have a realistic idea and just have fun and be consistent.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah, I think it's also very important to remember that we have to respect our pets' space, right? Because we love creating content with them and, taking our pets outside and, but I think we forget that they also can get grumpy or tired or fed up. So it's always very important to, try to learn how to detect those signs in time so that we can both enjoy it. So yeah, this is great. So I know you share lots of tips and advice for cat parents. So how do you think your content influences the way, people see and treat cats?
Um, I think with our content, I try to be mindful of just keeping things real for the most
Right,
part. What you see on Instagram is always like the highlight reel of our lives, right?
right.
Well, across a lot of like, in social media in general, you only see like the fun, the happy,
Yeah,
the good times.
right.
Um, but we also kind of try to show just the real times. Like 95% of the time, it's just the cats laying around, sitting around, doing nothing.
Yeah,
Just that
yeah,
5% where you see like the fun adventures, going outside, things like that. But
yeah.
with our content, I like to kind of remind people that these are older cats. I always say like, hey, Lynxie's almost 17, Kitty's 12, but we still kind of include them in
Right,
our daily lives, in our travels, just to kind of encourage people like, hey, just because your cats are older doesn't mean
yeah,
they just have to sit at home and sleep around. You can still have
right.
fun with them. So
Yeah, that's good.
I hope that's what um people take from our content is just because you have seniors or older kitties, you can still do so much with them.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think in social media, it's always tricky, right? Because we love, creating content, publish everything about our day, but we gotta be very careful in what or how we say things, because people can take it in different ways. So it's always, very, very important to come up as transparent and genuine. And you have all of that. So that's why we love so much your content. So yeah, this is great. Thank you. I think it's time to start asking questions about emergency kit for cats. So I think I want to start with the must have essentials. So what do you think are the must have items in your cat's go bag?
Um, Before we get to the bag, I just want to like point out two things.
Right.
Before like you start prepping for a bag, one thing is to consider like having an actual emergency plan.
Good.
Um, because obviously in an emergency, everybody's in a panic. Nobody knows what's going on. It's like go, 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 right?
Yeah.
But to always kind of have a plan in your head, if something were to happen, like what would you do? And
Right.
you from there. For myself personally, I always think, if there's an emergency, I have 5 minutes to get out. What would be my steps?
Right.
My first
Very
thing would
good.
be I want to grab the cat, put them in the bag, and then think of other things,
Right.
right? My
Right.
priority is the cats. And with that, you also want to like be mindful of where your cats would hide because you only have like 5-10 minutes in an emergency. Does your cat like to hide under the bed or under
Hmm.
the sofa? How are you going to get them
Right.
out? Things like that. And the other thing is be mindful of the type of bag you want to use for your go bag. Because for us, we use the backpacks as our travel carriers.
Hmm.
I'm not going to pick a backpack for my go bag because I'm not
Right.
physically going to be able to carry so
Yeah.
many, right? So that would be number one, like consider the type of bag. And the most important thing, I guess, if your kitties are taking any kind of meds, any kind of supplements,
Hmm.
you want to make sure you're packing those. A first aid
Right.
kit would be a must. Are you okay if I show a couple of things
Yeah,
we
of
have
course.
in our
Please
own
do.
bag? Okay.
Yeah, please
Okay.
do.
So
Thank
this is
you.
our emergency bag. I don't know if you can
Oh,
see it. It's kind
nice.
of big.
Okay. Yeah, we can see it.
It's a tote. It's a zipper tote. Just because when I'm carrying my backpack, I want to grab my tote with my stuff and then get out. That's my
Right.
plan.
Right.
Um, we have our emergency kit. And
Oh,
this
nice. Okay.
has all like the basic emergency stuff, and it also has like a little booklet, and it tells you what to do because I'm not trained in
That's
pet
good.
first aid. I don't know a lot of things,
Yeah.
so at least you have that. The other essentials, we love to carry pet wipes.
Okay.
So, when you're either evacuated or you're,
Right.
like in your car for a few hours or in a hotel or whatever, just to kind of have something to groom them, to clean them up if they make a mess. Um, Medicine, of course, your meds, your supplements, your emergency kit. Food and treats, I don't pack too many in my bag just because you want to be
Yeah.
aware of expiry
Right.
dates and things like that.
Right.
Um, I also pack a travel litter
Mm-hmm.
box. Well, yeah, I guess like a travel litter box that you can
Okay.
kind of fold and put in the bag.
Okay.
A little bag of litter. And then the other most important thing would be a little book. I have a little book with like the microchip numbers,
Okay.
numbers for the vet, um, kind of vaccination, like,
Yeah.
info, just
Mm-hmm.
a little, notebook or whatever. And you have that in the bag. The other thing I carry is collapsible, like bowls and things like that for
Yeah.
food. And all those little things that you can fit in your little go bag. Extra leashes, harnesses. Uh, what else do I carry? Poop bags, litter
Okay.
scoops, things like
Right.
that. So just, a few of the
Wow.
basics. And if I was to get evacuated for like, they always say prep for like 72 hours or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so at least it'll give me enough time until, we're safely back home or
Right.
whatever the step would be.
Oh my God. Very interesting. I thought I just hope our cat parents are taking notes because this is very important. Wow. Okay. So how do you keep your emergency kit updated for your cat?
Um, so because like in Canada, obviously we have seasons. So
Right.
if you live in a country that has seasons, I always check my bag like every 3 months ish. Just
Okay.
one thing is I want to check the expiry dates of the treats and the food and things like that. And also I will add like a winter jacket or a sweater if it's colder weather,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's in the summertime, I always like to keep like a cooling jacket for
Right.
each of them. I put that in the bag, and then things like a flea comb,
Okay.
a tick remover if it's in the summer,
Mm-hmm.
because if we get, especially like fire season, right?
Yeah.
Because that's huge here in Canada.
Yeah.
So um, if I get evacuated in the summer, then at least I'm kind of
Right.
prepared, with all those things, and I don't have to go running around looking for them.
Wow, you're the best cat mom ever. Yeah, this is a great advice. Wow. Okay, so have you ever had to use your cat's emergency kit? And if that was the case, what was the experience like?
Um, well, luckily, fingers crossed, we haven't had to use it for any
That's
actual
good.
emergencies. We've had like several fire alarms go off, and that kind of gives you a little bit of practice to, like how much time do you actually have to get out? And it's not much. Like for anybody who's been through an emergency, if you talk to them, you'll say you have maybe like 5-10 minutes at the most,
Yeah.
especially if it's like a
So,
fire kind of situation. Um,
yeah.
which is why like I always kind of tell my husband like, hey, if something was to happen, like what would it be the first
Right.
things you would grab, right? If
Yeah.
you have that in your head. And for us, the first thing and the only thing we would grab are the cats. Like everything
Yeah.
else is
Of
like
course.
burned to the ground. I don't care.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
oh, hi, Lindsay.
Hi.
Um, so yeah, so that would be the first thing we would grab. So we've had to kind of, get out and wait outside for a little bit while the fire trucks come to turn off the fire alarms, things
Right.
like that. And those are kind of the only things. We've had a flood once, but we did have some time to gather our things, so I wouldn't necessarily call it an emergency.
Hmm.
But yeah, those are kind of the only.
Wow. Well, yeah, I think in this type of cases, it's always important to have, an emergency kit on hand because, yeah, we never know what could happen. So this is our great tip. So this is great. So what's the best way? to make sure your cat stays calm during, an emergency when using these items from your go bag?
Um, my best tip would be for you to stay calm yourself, because cats pick
Of
up
course.
on your own stress and your own like panic.
Yeah.
So if you can kind of stay calm yourself, which is why it's really important to have a plan. We always kind of run with the idea that always hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. So
That's true.
kind of having that mentality and having a plan where, if you had an emergency, what would you do? Like even do some practice
Yeah,
run
that's
if you
good.
can. Um, and then having that go bag, we have it right in our hall closet by the front door. So if we have to get out, we just grab it and go.
Good.
Which is kind of the whole purpose of a go bag is you have everything ready and it's just grab and go. Yeah, just mainly if you stay calm and then the cat will pick up on that, and then don't kind of freak out and panic, because that's when they go and hide in, under the bed. And we've
Yeah.
had that too. We've had them like go hide under the couch
Mm-hmm.
and the bed, and we've literally had to like pick up the couch and the bed and like
Oh my God.
throw it,
Wow.
like pick up
Yeah.
the mattress and just flip it over to grab them, because they panic too, right?
Yeah, they
So
can feel it. Yeah. Yeah, this reminds me of when we are about to take off on a plane, and we have these flight attendants sharing all these instructions for an emergency, and they tell us you gotta put on a mask first and then children. So I think this applies to our pets, right? Like we have to be okay first so that they can be okay.
definitely.
So this is very, very important. Wow. Okay. So I think the last question would be, what's the most overlooked item that you think every cat emergency kit should include?
I think the most overlooked one, um, in my opinion, are like comfort items, things that your cats are familiar with at home, maybe like
Right.
a couple of toys. Like I will share what I have. Like I have a little pouch here, which is part of
Oh,
my bag.
yeah.
So I have like my collapsible stuff. I have like a little brush for grooming. And I also carry like these little pipe cleaners,
Oh, this is good.
which Kitty is
Okay.
obsessed with. She loves to play fetch. So she loves to play with those. So having things like a couple of toys, or even like I'll pull out like our blankets. I have a couple of
Oh,
like soft
okay.
blankets in my bag.
Yeah.
Things that kind of remind them of home.
Right.
So regardless of whether you have to like stay in your car or if you're in a hotel or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
you can create a little safe space for them with a couple of familiar things that smell like home, that remind them
Right.
of home, and that kind of calms them down too, right?
Great
So
advice.
like it's great to have the first aid and all the other stuff, but ultimately you want them to feel safe wherever they end up with you. So just,
Yeah.
some comfort stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very important. Wow. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for all these tips. I hope cat parents took notes because this is very, very important. So, yeah, well, thank you so much, Afrina, for your time. We really appreciate having you here. And I mean, well, I hope we can do another Instagram live soon. And
Oh,
well, thank
definitely.
you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, Tanya. It's like we love to talk about things like this because, you don't really think about emergency until it
Yeah,
happens, right?
exactly.
So it's
Yeah, this
always
is all great tips.
best to be prepared.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Safrina.
Thanks,
So we'll see
Tanya.
you next time. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you, guys.